this semester, our students are involved in the mock TEDx conference. They prepare their own TEDx talk, choose their favorite topic, and try to find something special and share new viewpoints. Of course, they have only 18 minutes for talking. During this process, the students develop their digital skills while using technologies to present the material. Their leadership skills are also improved because giving a speech requires good communication skills that are of vital importance for leaders. Nowadays, for Ukrainian teachers, it's a big challenge to teach online because the whole system in our country hasn't been developed properly. We are mastering new programs very fast, and here are some examples I've started using at my TED classes. It's Padlet for writing abstracts for videos, Quizlet for creating flashcards, and students like Kahoot a lot. And Mentimeter for keywords or just asking students about their mood. There are hundreds of ways to prepare students to their future career. I found these TED techniques to be really effective at my classes, and they really work to develop students' employability skills. You can combine different methods and find an approach that's good for you. Returning to Chris Anderson's book, when you share an idea that changes other mental models, you are giving people a lasting gift. It's my lasting gift to you. Thank you.
Bravo, thank you. And I'm sorry, I read your university, but I failed to mention that you're Zooming in here from Ukraine, which is incredible. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you too.
Okay, so we have about 10 minutes for questions for our 4 presenters. I think the easiest way, as we did it before, would be if you post your question in chat, and then we'll read it for the presenter. While people are thinking about their questions, I'll say, Christina, I really liked that worksheet where you had them thinking about the really engaging with the TED Talk. That's useful. I like that. We have a question from Philip. Have TED techniques been useful during the pandemic?
Okay, it's an interesting question because it's, thank you, Philip. It's a big challenge it's a big challenge for all Ukrainian teachers and also for me. And that techniques, because students can, so I add to that techniques that I'm using at my at my simple classes at the university. I've added different tools like Kahoot, Mentimeter, and a lot of others, and it's like it helps a lot.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. We have a question for Dr. Pardue. You raised big questions about the ethics of AI. What do you think is the next step?
Well, the next step, I guess, in incorporating AI into education or just in general?
Ooh. Jeff, do you want to respond?
No, in general. In general.
Yeah, I think in general, we just have to, I don't know about steps, but we need to not just focus on the potential at positives of artificial intelligence, because it has a lot, but there's a lot of unintended consequences, and we have to acknowledge that we're very quickly getting to a point where we can't understand how these algorithms are making a decision. And so that's why I'm proposing maybe we're going to create a whole new version of social science theory that's between computers and humans. I don't know, but I think we need to think of them in more broad terms and more like they're a member of our community. And I don't know if that means new social science theory or what, but the trap is just to rush to all the positives or to solve a crisis and not think about the unintended consequences and not view them as members of the community.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harold.
We have a question for Dr. Drew Lewis. Have any of your colleagues incorporated standards-based grading into their courses? And if so, have they had similar results?
Yeah, so I think 4 other people have done it, and the data I presented was actually all of our courses. So several of us contributed to that data. So yes, by definition.
Excellent. I really liked your inventory. I wrote it down. What did you call it?
Short test anxiety inventory.
Yes. Yeah, that was great. And it was neat how it changed depending on when and how you asked those questions. It was fascinating. Do we have any others? I have one that I could ask Dr. Jennifer Anderson. I know that the pandemic obviously has made your work very, very difficult. Do you see an increase in how we teach students to, or nursing students to work through like teledoc, kind of those services? Do you see an increase in courses and leading nurses to work in like that online teledoc environment?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess for once they've graduated into the profession and that kind of thing, but it is more difficult in the undergraduate world for us with the student nurses because so much of what we teach is on hands. And when you're forced to teach through the computer, that has made it difficult. So what we've had to incorporate a lot of what we would have done in the classroom is they are using video to where they're recording themselves, practicing, submitting it to us. When they do their checkoffs, they're recording it themselves. They're having to submit it for a grade. But it is very difficult, but obviously we had to do it that way to get through the semester. So, I mean, for this particular course, I mean, I still want to be more traditional and feel like they need that hands-on faculty present, you know, to really be successful. But unfortunately, you know, we had to shift to a more online type format. Did I answer your question?
Yes. No, yes. And I forgot that it was undergraduate. I was thinking more of graduate level courses and thinking about how they go into practice. You're right.
Right. Yeah. These students are, you know, beginner. They haven't, you know, most of them don't have a degree yet. So, you know, when you move into more the graduate type studies, well, then you can implement more of the other type of, I guess, electronic, you know, means for education. And really the graduate students, they are literally 100% predominant online as far as their classes, other than when they're doing their clinicals. But these undergraduates, they're coming into the classroom and we are, you know, facilitating them and helping them with practice and being there present with them, with the SPs. And unfortunately, the SPs play a huge part in the anxiety and the preparation, because when you go to the hospital and you assess the patient, you don't know that person before you go in there, and you're forced to touch them, talk to them, ask them questions. And those SPs became kind of like that person in the hospital for them to help with their anxiety and, you know, help them work through the challenges a lot of these students face with, you know, just being scared to walk into a room and talk to somebody. Like I talked about with these millennials, or faces are in the phones, they don't know how to communicate with people. But with the electronic environment we had to do this semester, they ended up having to practice on somebody they knew, because that's all they had available in their home due, you know, to what our lockdown was. And so that kind of took that piece away that we were hopeful that would assist them in going forward to clinicals.
Excellent. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. It was fast. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I'm going to keep up. I was like, I had way more notes than what I got through, but I was like, oh well.
Y'all are champs. We're going to have to upload these to a Pechacucha website and say these people know how to do it. I'm really impressed. Okay, so we have about a minute left, 2 minutes to go. If anybody has any other questions, you can feel free to ask them. post them in chat and we'll share them with the presenters. But I do want to thank you very much for doing this. It is not easy doing a Pachacucha. I don't know if it's easier or more difficult doing it online, but you've all done a really wonderful job and we appreciate your participation in CoTL 2020.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, it is hard.
It was harder than I thought.
So this is Raj. I was in a different session. Did we record all of these? Because I want to come back and listen to Drew and Harold and Jennifer and all these people. Okay,
Yeah.
super. Thank you guys. Christina, nice to see you also, all the way from Ukraine.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
You can't see me, but.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
Okay, so we have about 5 minutes before the next session begins. So we'll get set up. In our next session, we have Dr. William Wildberger, Dr. Randall DuPont, Dr. Mark DuPont, Dr. April Dupree Taylor, Dr. Crystal Thomas, and Dr. Christina Johnson.